Aaron from GameEnthus.com, and I'm doing a preview for Our Family Plays Games for a trio of games. This preview has also been sponsored by Envy Born Games, who happens to be the publisher of the aforementioned trio of games. The Kickstarter campaign for this trio of games is going to be sometime in fall of 2023. Enough with the stalling. The trio of games.
This is the Tiny Game series with 3 unique games, each having its own theme and mechanics. 16 Candies is a quick family game for 3 to 4 players. In this game, players draw and discard cards featuring different types of candy, trying to form the best hand they can with their 3 cards. If they think they have the best hand, they have to shout, "I got candy!" The game ends when only one player has candy left in their supply, and that player is the winner. In Sirens, opposing sirens work to lure sailors to their side of the cove, but which siren song is strong enough? Sirens is a quick and compact card drafting game for 1 to 2 players, in which you'll draft cards over the course of 2 to 3 rounds to construct a song to lure sailors away from the nearby ship. The first player who successfully attracts 2 sailors with their music will win the game. Lastly, in Defrag, we rewind the clock back to 1995, and your trusty computer is suddenly slowing to a crawl, so it's time to defrag. Defrag is a cooperative hand management grid puzzle game in which you are attempting to rearrange and consolidate various file fragments before exhausting your resources. There are a variety of different challenges and even a solo mode. If you are successful in consolidating the 4 different file fragment types before you exhaust your resources, you'll win that scenario.
First up, we have 16 Candies, designed by Dickie Chapman and Katarzyna Kiwaka. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. 16 Candies is also playable from 2 to 4 players. In 16 Candies, not candles, you are trying to be the last player sitting, standing, existing with candy. You're trying to collect the most of any one of several types of candies, and there's a bit of a push your luckish risk reward to assuming that you are the individual that has the most of any one of the particular types of candies. Okay, this is a quick setup for 16 Candies. Each player will get 3 different cards. The youngest player will go first, and the first player marker is this lollipop, and it would go clockwise. So I guess it would go this way and then back around this way. It would make more sense if I put it over here, but I already put it here first, so I can't put it over here, but I guess I can put it over here. I'm saying let's make things too fast. We'll just start here. This will be the first player, and then it'll go, now it's going to the right. So I'm gonna go this way. Now this is the first player, and it's gonna move to the left. How do we get here? Anyway, the cards are comprised of several areas. The side that's up is the side that's active, the side that's applicable. You only rotate your cards during your turn. If your card is like this, then you have 4 candy corn. And candy corn and I do not get along. If the card like this, you have 3 portions of a chocolate bar. In the upper left corner are your penalty licorice. Which also reminds me that each player is supposed to have 16 pieces of licorice. This small dish here, which does not come with the game, is full of little licorice pieces. I'm not gonna really do it all 16, I'll just get everybody some. So everybody has some licorice, but it's supposed to be 16. It's essentially your health, if you will. This is a last person standing type game. So once one person is left that has licorice, there you go. All right, so this will be player 1. They're gonna go first. They take a look at their 3 cards. The object of the game is you want to have a single candy type that has the most of that candy. So looking at my hand here, I have 2 chocolate pieces and then 6 over here. So maybe it behooves me to put these together, and then I would have 8. Or if I don't want to do that, I could flip this over, and then let's say I have 7 heart pieces. 6 here, 1 here. I'm gonna go with the chocolate here and put it like that. You can draw a card from the discard or the top of the pile. I'm gonna take this card because it has 3 chocolates on it. So I'm gonna put that in there like that. Once I discard that card, that would be the end of my turn. The other action you can take is called calling, or you can call. And you just say, I've got candy, which means you're pretty confident you have the most of a particular type of candy within the 3 cards you have. Because right now I have 11 pieces of chocolate candy. 11 pieces of chocolate candy, but I'm also exposed for 5 penalty candies. Everybody else will get a last turn. This player called out, I've got candy, which in hindsight, not that they would have known, was kind of a mistake, but they didn't know. They got 11. This person has 12. So because they called out I have candy and did not win, they tied for the lowest because the first and second player both have the lowest amount. So because they tied, only the player who called out I've got candy loses their penalty amount plus 1 additional candy. So the penalty amount is 5. You look at the licorice on top, there's 5 of them. So they're going to lose 6 total because they're going to lose the penalty amount that's visible plus 1. The 2 images you see on screen can be used to determine the other win, tying, and losing conditions for the player who said, I've got candy, and the other players who did not say, I've got candy. The other win condition is if any player, as soon as they have 4, 5, and 6 of a particular candy type, they can immediately just reveal it and they win. They win that entire round. However, everybody else has to reveal their hands immediately and take all of the penalty candies that are at the top, and they cannot rotate before revealing. Up next, we have Sirens, and in Sirens, you are a siren trying to construct the best song to lure sailors in for reasons, altruistic reasons, of course. Sirens is playable from 1 to 2 players, and it's designed by Art Casey with art from Gabby Naftali. As stated earlier, in Sirens, players are going to be trying to create songs in order to win over sailors. The first thing you do when you start the game off is you reveal a universal rule. So the universal rule is going to be X, and they should be on the screen right now, which means that we're going to be doubling our heart scores. So heart scores are going to be doubled. So let's put that up there. Both players are now going to draw up to 4 cards, but they're going to alternate in doing so. And the oldest player will go first. So let's just do it like this. Then each player is going to draft 1 card and pass the pile over to the next player. The 2 remaining cards are going to be a song, and Sirens typically contains 6 cards. So each player is now going to build a route. A route is going to be 3 cards that are going to have to stay together, regardless of what other cards a player comes in contact with. The remaining deck is called the Ship. It's going to get shuffled up again, and players once again going to draw 4 and draft 3 and discard 1. And now we build the progression, which means we finish out our song. So both players have constructed their songs. So let's get to the scoring. So hearts, the player who would score their cards first, the player who has the most hearts. I think if there's a tie, the oldest player goes first. Hearts are scored by the difference between who has the most, who has the least. So this player on the right side has 7 hearts. This player has 4. So the blue player, they're going to score 3 hearts. Because of the universal rule, heart scores are doubled. So I guess that would be 6. Not bad. Okay, up next is scoring parts. Parts are basically the colors of the cards. So for this player right here, they have 3 yellows in a row. And a part scores by multiplying the number of the parts by itself. So 3 times 3 would be 9. So that'll be 9, and then these are all by themselves. So it's blue, red, green. So that'll be 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. Over here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is blue, yellow, green, blue. So these are all single parts because they have to be the same colors have to be adjacent to each other. So that's 4 points. And then we have 2 reds. This is a wild. If I showed you that, that is a wild card. It contains all of the colors. Lucky me. So that's 4. And then 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. So red is now on the scoreboard with 8 points. Next thing we would score off would be flow. As you can see in the picture on the screen, flow is going from one color, light color, to another to score points. And flow is exponential, which means your first flow is worth 1 point. Your second flow is worth 2 points, 3 points, so on and so forth. So we'll start over here. So this is 1 flow right here. That's 1 point. And that's 2. And that's 3. And that's 4. So that'll be 1, 2, which would be 3 total. plus 3, which would be 6, plus the fourth one, which would be another 4 points. So that'll be 10 points for having 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different flows. So we're now tied up at 18. All right, going over to blue here. Not quite as much flow. We have 1. We have 1 flow. So that would be a point for blue. So we're 18 and 19. And then finally, the last thing we would score up would be charms. So let's see. This player has this charm completed here for 1 point. So that'll be 1 point. And that will be that. And that is how Siren plays. And what blue would do is blue would take the card that gave the universal rule, and they would just take that and it would stay out there, which means going into the next round, they have 1 heart to begin with. And the third of the trio is Defrag from Brandon McCool with art from Jason Bowles. Defragging may seem like an antiquated notion, but there was a time when every disk drive was pretty much a hard disk drive, and you need your computer to go in and group files that belong together and separate ones that really didn't. So defragging is a 1 or 2 player game where players are essentially trying to defrag the 18 card deck and try to stack up like files together so the theoretical and ethereal computer can run faster. So this is the setup in Defrag. In Defrag, what you are trying to do is you're trying to make stacks that have a certain file type facing up, and you want to score that stack over a series of 4 rounds. Each round, whether by choice or by the time you get to the end of the cards that are available to play into the area, you have to score up one of your 4 different types, and you can pick whichever one you want, but you're trying to go for a maximum score. So in Defrag, you have Notepad, Paint, I think that's Graph, and then you have system files. So each round you're going to be attempting to create a stack of one of those types with that file type facing up and trying to score a lot of points. The game can be played solo, cooperative, and competitive. You would use another set of 18 cards. How the game will go is you take 2 cards from your stack of available ones, and there's a couple of rules here. Whenever you play a card into the area, it can be in an empty spot or anywhere around. You have to play with Defrag being at the top. So this card means that you have Paint at the top. So I'm basically playing this in for Paint because Paint is at the top of it. Or I could flip the card around and play the Notepad side if I wanted to. I have a lot of Paint that's already face up. It'll probably behoove me to play things up. So as you can see under the word Defrag, you have an up and down arrow, which means I can move a single card, not a stack, a single card up or down in any row or column. Well, not any row or column that this is placed in. I can move any card in it up or down based on this icon. And then on the opposite side, I could do the same, just left or right. And then the other action you can take is every card has the recycle bin icon, and that means you just discard that card, and any card, single card there, you can just rotate it or flip it to whatever orientation you wish, which does come in handy. There is also a wild file type there. It's like a book, I guess. That is a wild icon. I don't remember which way this was. I think it was like that. I'll know during editing. Just to show some of the other iconography. The tree just means it's not a wild, it won't boost your score for that particular file type, but it can be placed in any stack. And it doesn't count to help you, but it can be placed. And then a few more icons. If you look under the word defrag, you'll see what looks like a little networking icon. And that means that you may move one card from anywhere in the grid to any position in the row or column where this card was played, even directly into a stack. And then the save action, it allows you to remove one card in this row or column from the grid, placing it into a save area in front of you. Those kind of like a third option. So you can take something that's already here, remove it, place it in front of you, not in your hand, because you're only drawing up to 2 cards per turn. But then if you need it to go somewhere else, you could use it as like a third option on the subsequent turn to get that card somewhere else, which is pretty handy. Let's begin. So as you can see, there's a lot of paint that's already in the upward orientation. So I'm going to place this here And what that's gonna allow me to do is allow me to move anything in this row or column that this card was placed in, move it left or right. So I'm gonna start creating a stack and then move that here. So what that means is now I have 4 paint icons, and then I will draw another card and take another turn. Once again, the Kickstarter campaign for this trio of games is going to be sometime in fall of 2023. There will be a link in the description beneath this video where you can find out more information about how you can be notified when the campaign begins. I found these games to be very enjoyable, solo, and with my family and friends. Don't just take my word for it, check it out for yourself and see if your friends and or family will enjoy them. If you wish to see and or hear more of me, I'm a regular contributor to OFPG Voices. You can check out my aforementioned website or check out my videos on youtube.com/GameEnthus. Thank you for watching. Take care, stay safe, and be blessed.